The simple truth is, if you have a chicken that's worth, were you to, let's say that it broke its leg, and the choice, it would be a little ridiculous to spend what could be $200, $300, $400, $500 to fix the fracture versus to just putting it down and having it for dinner. And that's also something that I think we should discuss while we're on that topic, and that is, it really came to forefront during this past year with the horses. What about animal disposal? And again, if you have a rabbit, a chicken, and you want to, it dies, be a disease, who knows what, digging a hole and burying it is one thing. As you start getting into larger livestock, and you look at, what am I going to do with this 1,000-pound horse? What am I going to do with this 900-pound heifer? You start getting into it becomes far more complicated and convoluted in a hurry. There are very limited, in some areas of the country, very limited availability for people to be able to dispose of animal carcasses like that, especially large ones. In many areas, you just couldn't dig a hole and pitch it in the ground because of groundwater concerns. It has to be properly dealt with, disposed of, and so I think before people jump in, and particularly get in anything much bigger than a rabbit, chicken, small little animal like that, they better make sure they're aware of, and in their game plan, what am I going to do with an animal that dies? Because it's going to happen. Some things are unforeseen, even crazy things like lightning strikes, animals under trees. What are you going to do when the inevitability comes when an animal dies? How are you going to dispose of the body? It's one thing if you kill it yourself, chicken or sheep or something like that, and your intent was to eat it for meat. But if that wasn't your intent, or let's say an animal that you've been treating for an illness and you've been administering antibiotics or some other drug, and despite your best abilities and intent to try to treat that animal, it just didn't recover. You had to euthanize it, perhaps put out its misery, so to speak. Now you can't even use that carcass for meat because of the drug withdrawal issues. So there are a lot of layers when you start owning livestock, and especially if they're intended for food, that you have to factor in that for somebody who's new at it, it's not necessarily overwhelming, and certainly anybody can learn to do it, but again, some professional advice, some seeking somebody who knows all the aspects.